And so I would love if you could maybe give us some more context. So I'm sure that I know me and I'm sure a lot of people listening, you brought them up like, the Sumatran wildlife, Sumatran orangutans and rhinos and tigers and all this incredible wildlife, but maybe we might not know what exactly is happening. And you gave us a couple hints, but could you maybe teach us a little bit more? What is going on with the island? Why are, you working so hard to conserve it? What are the conservation issues? What's the driver of them? And then at the same time, like what are they? And yeah, and then we can go into solutions later. But first, teach us what is going on to this beautiful place.
Yeah, thanks for the macro, the big threat we are is that we will see conversion of the landscape to an industrial land use, most likely palm oil. And that would have downstream effects. You'll see conversion of forest areas, so you'll have impacts to the wildlife, and you'll have huge impacts to the river systems. These communities are really dependent on rivers for all of their water needs. Um, and those livelihoods, the community livelihoods, are dependent on those forest resources as well. So if you can imagine the islands, we would just see conversion probably of 50% of the island to palm oil,
50.
most likely. So one of the main livelihoods on the island is coconuts. Coconuts on the island are aging, so they're in their senile years and they need replanting. It's an existing land use that's very important to people there. Mostly subsistence, so they're fishers. They'll have their rice fields, they'll have coconut farms, and then they'll have some agroforestry, like you can imagine the Indonesian spices, nutmegs, and cloves. So their livelihoods are sustainable, and they rely highly on natural resources. But one of the main challenges that the coconut sector in particular faces is that the trees are aging and that farmers don't have the ability to replant. And if they don't do that, likely that some other land use will come in, and it's likely to be palm oil companies because they have the resources to invest. The other issues that we're facing from a conservation perspective is that there's a lot of poaching of wildlife, and sea turtles in particular. So there's a number of critically endangered and endangered sea turtles, the big leatherback turtle. And what's really happening is that fishers are going out, they're fishing, and then they're just grabbing turtle eggs to support their income. And so, yeah, we are focusing on the issue of conversion of these large forest areas, farmers, and particularly in the coconut sector, just because on the aging trees, and then the wildlife where there are particular threats. So sea turtles and songbirds are also facing significant threats in the area where we're working.
So then, is it? So it sounds to me, and having been in this field in a while and traveling quite a lot, it sounds like maybe there isn't that much opportunity outside of consumptive industries, does it sound like, for a local community? And um, does that also mean, is there a growing population? Like, is there a growing population of young people and there isn't much opportunity and that's what's driving poaching? Or I guess from the social part of this, what is driving this from what you've seen?
Yeah, what's driving poaching? I think that in many cases, people just think the resource is going to be a forever. So if we think about turtle eggs, every single turtle egg from every single nest has been poached for the past decades. And they've always been there. So I don't think there's this understanding that one day they won't be. So there's a knowledge and understanding and also needs. The turtle eggs are consumed, so they're a protein source. They're easy to take when someone's out on an island and you're fishing. So for additional income without any extra effort, it's just, I'd probably do the same thing if I was a fisher person and my
Right.
family needed feeding. There's not big networks involved in it. There's nothing undercover. It's just we grab them. And so, I remember watching a video of David Attenborough eating sea turtles. There's some footage of him from like 20 or 30 years ago. So I think sometimes these conservation issues we can blow up as this big serious thing, but for people involved in those activities, it's just an everyday thing. And we talk about education and knowledge and things like that, and they can often seem like quite grandiose things, but it's just people are going about their everyday activities and just don't know that it's an issue. So it's often just about having presence in that landscape and building relationships and being there and changing that knowledge over time. But the other issue is the poaching of songbirds. So this is a significant, the songbird crisis. So there's like an Asian songbird working group and a lot of people focusing on songbirds in Southeast Asia. And poaching of songbirds is much more serious. There's a serious songbird trade in this part of the world, and people will be paid to go out and collect birds and then sell them into markets in Indonesia and throughout the region.
Oh, so people are wanting them more as pets? Is that the main driver?
Yeah, there's a saying in Indonesia that's like, you're only a real man if you've got like your knife and your bird. And so it's quite a status symbol, and you've got your bird in your cage that sings. So we are actually focusing on a one subspecies of bird that is extinct in the world. One species of bird that is extinct in the wild, and it's one that maybe has only a number of individuals left. So it's a real crisis, and we're working with a number of groups internationally on that.